Mexico's president slams U.S. spying, after 28 Sinaloa cartel members charged, including sons of El Chapo.
Here's a summary of the article.
Mexico's president lashed out Monday at what he called U.S. spying and interference in Mexico, days after U.S. prosecutors announced charges against 28 members of the Sinaloa cartel for smuggling massive amounts of fentanyl into the United States. President Andrés Manuel López Obrador suggested Monday that the case had been built on information gathered by U.S. agents in Mexico, and said, foreign agents cannot be in Mexico. Mike Vigil, former head of international operations for the Drug Enforcement Administration, said López Obrador was mistakenly assuming that U.S. agents needed to be in Mexico to collect intelligence for the case. López Obrador continued Monday to describe fentanyl, a synthetic opioid that causes about 70,000 overdose deaths annually in the United States, as a U.S. problem, claiming it isn't made in Mexico. The Mexican president also made it clear that fighting fentanyl trafficking takes a back seat to combating Mexico's domestic security problems, and that Mexico is helping only out of goodwill. Vigil pointed out that it was the very same cartels trafficking fentanyl and methamphetamines that cause most of the violence in Mexico. López Obrador's own administration has acknowledged finding dozens of labs where fentanyl is produced in Mexico from Chinese precursor chemicals, mainly in the northern state of Sinaloa.
This post received a score of 5,100, with an upvote ratio of 94%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Oh, someone is worried about consequences for failing to protect the cartel.
He's more worried about charges against his own government.
Or worried about bits of him being scattered across the countryside.
I don't think the cartels are brazen enough to target a sitting president.
The one they allowed in office?
The one they preferred in office. Says, hey, let's focus on making sure kids don't join these gangs, which is as close to an endorsement as you'll get. I can't imagine the tables being turned. Like having Biden go on TV and try to defend the Crips to a foreign power.
It's beyond believability what's going on just south of the border. Citizens firing rocket launches at military helicopters. Regular people living in a small town creating enclaves through armed roadblocks, trying to keep cartels out of their hometown. Drug lords massacring dozens of townspeople and blaming it as a false flag operation for a different gang.
It's always boggled my mind that Mexico isn't on the failed state list.
They are still the 15th largest economy in the world. Murder rates are about half of St. Louis. Not great, but not unlivable if you can keep out of certain areas of the country.
Greater than murder rates are about half of St. Louis. Murder rates for a whole-ass country even comparable to that of a major metropolitan area is crazy. That's not a valid comparison at all.
I was curious so I looked. Mexico has a 4x higher murder rate than USA. Guy above you must have been high with that comparison.
And the US homicide rate is already sky-damn high compared to other Western countries. About 7 to 8 times higher already. So Mexico is really off the charts here.
I'd be angry too if someone arrested my sugar daddies.
I think in this case it's more like a working girl panicking because their pimp is going to come home angry.
Well put. AMLO really signaling he in the pocket of the cartels with these comments.
Signaling? You mean the big-ass billboard wasn't enough?
You mean the, we're going to fight the cartels with hugs, AMLO? That guy, no way.
Greater than you mean the, we're going to fight the cartels with hugs, AMLO? That guy? No way. No fucking way.
Yes fucking way. He said something along these lines. We must not fight fire with fire. This is not the correct way. Hugs, not bullets. He's so deep in the cartel's pockets he regularly visits El Chapo's mother in Badiraguato, his, El Chapo's, hometown, and has the nerve to deny it lol.
Americans on Reddit. USA is totally fucked. Just look at all the shit happening daily. Other countries like Mexico, hold my corona.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.